We're back with Bridget Ann Kelly. She was Deputy Chief of Staff to New Jersey Governor Chris Christie at the time of the Bridgegate scandal. She's just been sentenced to federal prison for her role in that scandal. She is appealing her conviction to the U.S. Supreme Court. Bridget, thank you for staying with us.
Thank you.
So you have now recounted a story in which a lawyer approached you as this scandal was really breaking open. Your email, "Time for some traffic problems in Fort Lee," is in every headline, every newspaper in the country. You get a call from a lawyer that night who says that he can represent you. As far as I understand this, correct me if I'm wrong, you share all the relevant details of your case. You share basically what you have to say about the Bridgegate matter. And then 2 weeks later, he says, "Thanks, but I'm not going to represent you anymore. I have a conflict," and you never hear from him again.
So if I could just kind of
please
explain a little bit more how that happened. So on January 8th, the email came out. I was driving to work. I was told not to come into work. I had tried to I reached out to all my superiors trying to figure out, like, what's happening? This is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, nothing was making sense because conversations prior to that, you know, everything's going to be fine. You're good. Don't worry about it. So things weren't playing out the way I had been told they were expected to. So I didn't go to work that day, but I couldn't go home, and because my house was covered with media. I mean, it was horrible.
You were national news everywhere in the country.
Yeah. And so, not fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to my parents, and their house, their whole street was covered. So I called my aunt and I said, "I need to come to your house. I need to go somewhere." And I was shaking. I mean, I was petrified. I go to my aunt's, and my phone's ringing off the hook with all sorts of stuff. And my email address, by the way, is on national news,
mm-hmm.
BridgetAnnKelly@yahoo.com. So I was getting horrible emails and whatnot. So I get a message from, I wasn't answering the phone, obviously, because all these numbers, it was 973 Morristown number. And I listened to the message, and it was, "Bridget, this is Wally Timpone. I was told to give you a call. I'm an attorney. You know, there's some people worried about you, and we want to make sure you're okay. Please give me a call." So it was early afternoon. So
mm-hmm.
I go downstairs, and I said to my mom and dad, because I'm at my aunt's house now, and the kids, we got them home from school and everything. I said, "An attorney just called me," because I don't know if I need a criminal attorney. I've never, I don't know. And so he said he was a criminal defense attorney or defense attorney. And I said to my mom, you know, he said on the message that people are worried about me and that he was told to give me a call. She goes, "Mm-hmm." You know, just mother's intuition. And so I called. So he left another message. I finally called him back, and he told me that he had spoken to Michelle Brown, who was one of the governor's closest associates, and that she and others were worried about me and knew that I was going to need an attorney, and he'd like to help me out. And so I was like, "Oh, okay, this is great." I mean, I didn't know. So I went and met with him a day or two later. He negotiated the whole, I wanted to resign because
mm-hmm.
I thought that I should be afforded
Rather
that opportunity. Because that was embarrassing. They wouldn't let me resign. So on the morning of the 9th, I knew that then brand new Chief Counsel Chris Perino and Paul Mady, who's now on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, they called me and told me I was terminated and that I was not to, you know, I had to turn off my phone, all that kind of stuff, turn everything in. And so then Wally said, "Why don't we meet the following day?" So I think that was a Thursday. Or perhaps it was a Friday. It was the Friday. So I go down to Newark and I meet him, and my brother came with me. And my brother said, "You know, if you were kind of told to give my sister a call, how do we know you have Bridget's best interest?" "Promise you, I do. I also said to Wally, the first time we spoke, I said, "I Googled you and you're on the Election Law Enforcement Commission. If we have to appear before the Legislative Committee, how can you represent me?"
So you raised the issue of the potential conflict.
The first time. And
okay.
I worked in the legislature. I know what elect is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how anyone could go up here in front of the very people you're looking at their elect reports to see where their money came in, but you're going to represent me. It's no problem. Don't worry about it. So I didn't worry about it. But my brother comes with me the first day, asked that question, attorney-client privilege, assured us that that I was going to be okay. I was hesitant, though, because my mom,
sure.
You have that in the back of your head. And so I didn't tell him everything. I told him a lot, but I didn't tell him everything. So I met with him a second time because I'm still also petrified. I have no idea what's happening. No one's talking to me from Trenton. Mm-hmm. No one's calling me back. Friends, people that I use the word friend for. I go down another time to see him in his Morristown office, and my father comes with me. My father said, one more time, how do we know, and we met with almost the entire firm, all the partners, how do we know you have Bridget's best interest? Don't worry, she's going to be okay, she's going to be fine. At that point, I had moved to the beach to a friend's house because I couldn't go anywhere and I wasn't safe and it was horrible. A couple days later, I get I don't know if I read it online or I got an email or call from him and he said, I'm out. I have this conflict with Elect. And I said, wait, what do you mean? In the meantime, somebody saw it in the press and my ex-husband called me and he's like, listen, I have this firm. And then that is who
but you had already raised with him the issue of the conflict that he later
The first time we spoke.
And in the interim, you met with him and talked to him about your case and told him about your defense plans.
Well, I was developing. I was telling him parts of what what he was asking, but I was telling him, I was downloading to him.
Why weren't you able to name him during the trial?
I tried.
What do you mean?
I told this story during the trial, but every so often you get objected to, and then it's sustained, and then.
And now Chris Christie has named him to be a New Jersey Supreme Court justice.
Correct.
Bridget Kelly, former Deputy Chief of Staff to New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. You are still in the throes of this, and I appreciate you being here. I covered this within an inch of its life, including your role in this, and I understand why you were convicted. I also understand why you're fighting it, but your decision to keep talking about it and to elucidate the other parts of this is brave. Thank you for doing it here.
Thank you for letting me.
Good luck.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.